everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Now, why do I still invest in Attack Rune Master in 2025? Well, Ragnarok Mobile Eternal Love has a ton of powerful classes, but I've always enjoyed the Rune Master since it's one of my favorite classic classes to play. Even though Rune Masters have fallen out of favor compared to hero classes, it's still fun to play because there's lots of depth and an endless amount of work required. And at the end, you do get a lot of satisfaction from that. So let's begin with some footage from the Legend Museum Dragon. Now in the past I did struggle with this because I wasn't using the Baphomet card and lacked AoE. I found retargeting to the smaller dragon pretty annoying, and maybe my reflexes are just slow. So this was a good way to adapt, and I also learned from people in the comment section. Now having the drop damage for AoE is something hero classes rarely have to worry about, but for classes like Rune Master, these are some of the things you need to deal with. Even though you're hitting for a lot, unfortunately your damage is capped on Legend Isles and Museum, so that also handicaps Attack Rune Master quite a bit. I could have used Asphyxia at the end, but well, a double KO is a bit more exciting, I suppose. Now here's some more footage against the Legend chess boss. MDEF switching is also really interesting since it heavily boosts your damage, but requires another set of gears, so that adds to more work to be done as well. This time I use a Yimmer build for solo damage. This one uses the Nuka card instead of Baphomet. Thankfully, the damage is high enough to take down the Rook, since the Rook is definitely the most annoying part of this battle since he can insta-kill you. This boss fight did take quite a bit of time. I should have done another MDEF switch for this one. However, at the end I was still able to take down the boss. The boss itself doesn't do that much damage, so even though my damage had dropped a lot, I could still take him down. Doing MDEF switch mid-battle is definitely a tough thing to do, but it's a great skill to have, especially if you enjoy playing Ronin or with Begetter. Next I'll show Legend Isles Floor 3 since that's really the hardest one there. In the past I didn't use the Baphomet card and it was hard for the second phase, so this time I used that instead. My damage is high enough in the first phase that it really doesn't matter. For the second phase it does get really messy, but luckily I can take down Strofe very quickly. Then I take down the Heart as well. Mid-battle I do Yimmer switch so I can make sure I have high damage for the last phase, and this is before the boss comes to me. I use Asphyxia this time since the boss can insta-kill you, so it definitely helps to be able to take him down without dying. But despite doing quite well in Legend Isles and Museum, these days that doesn't quite cut it. The harsh reality really comes to classic jobs when it comes to the new instances that have very heavy reductions. Unfortunately for a lot of these classic jobs, there's a huge disadvantage when doing it solo. For example, with the PSR Dragon, the damage is definitely lacking. It's nowhere near that of Klitzberg or Sunlight. But does that mean you can't use them at all in these instances? Not exactly, but to be more optimal you definitely need a party with some debuffers and some buffers. For example, here I'm going to add my wife Saint. She's going to buff me as well as Dark Convert and also use a ratio, and with that I found I was able to take down the dragon much faster than before. It's still slow though compared to Klitzberg or Ronin. And I have seen many videos where people use a Slave Klitzberg as well as a Saint, because Klitzberg has an increased damage taken debuff, and that helps dramatically. And in reality, in real life, this is an MMORPG, so you're supposed to have a party with people anyways. Doing stuff solo is more of a thing that happened when hero classes got released because the power levels were so insane. So I don't think there's any problem with having a Slave Saint or a Slave Klitzberg to help you out, so you can continue enjoying playing classic classes. And that's the same for Space Time as well. Again, without a Saint, my damage definitely isn't great. But with a Saint, my damage is much better, and I can also benefit from healing and a ratio. I don't need to rely on another build that has Goblin Leader for survivability, and also for these tough bosses you're getting very little HP from them anyways. Next, I wanted to show what I was working with. First, I want to show my stats without the MDef build. With Prepare for Elite, with my DPS gear, I have 63,000 magic attack. Next, I go to my MDef build, and the journey to get MDef gear is definitely fun and takes a lot of work, and seeing the difference is very satisfying. I also use the same for Ronin 2, which is a top tier class, but unfortunately is not one of the original Ragnarok classes. I do Prepare for Elite and then switch back. Now I have 102,000 magic attack, which is a huge difference. Sink or Swim is definitely really nice and can give crazy big boosts. Now for the rest of my stats, I'm 559 hits, 480% attack speed, 84.7% penetration, 242.5% critical damage, which is really low since I don't have really good critical damage percentage and chance. This is a long-term investment that hardcore auto attack rune masters definitely invest in. Next I have 68.9% auto attack damage increase. I don't have any zeal and chance, so this is also kinda low. Next I have 248.5% damage percentage and 96.7% physical damage increase. So even right now, I still have lots of optimizations that can be done to make my Rune Master stronger. For my single target build with Nuka card, and for other builds I do swap in Baphomet or Goblin Leader instead, here's what I have. It has been a long process of getting cards for this build. Rune Master is heavily reliant on good MVP cards and gachas. In addition, you need a high deposit. Stuff isn't given to you for free like Klitzberg. It will take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Early on, your damage is also going to be garbage too, so many people will quit. Now here's my shadow equipment. It's definitely not optimal for auto attack Rune Master either, so I still have lots of work to do here as well. I use a skeleton bracer here for the anti-death. Next, here are my advanced runes and my placement. One important thing is definitely wait for the upcoming revamp to the advanced runes. You have a great way to upgrade your runes to definitely get way stronger, so please be patient and wait for it. Here are my advanced rune stats so you can see roughly what I have. I want to upgrade my Darkness Awakening's duration time, as well as more critical damage from Fortitude Mark Ruin. Next, here are my Arcane Ruins. I use Transmission Rune because you can hit from more than 6 meters away, and if there's only one target, then Whiteblade Rune will do a lot as well, and then War Preparedness Rune is great for being able to get an HP shield. Next are my skills. First are my Swordsman skills. Next are my Knight skills. Next are my Lord Knight skills. And next here are my Rune Knight skills. On auto attack, I just have my auto attack. And then on my manual bar, I have Asphyxia. This is my anti-death that I use whenever I'm about to die. Then I have Taunt. Then I have a bit Survival. This is great for some extra damage as well as you can convert to Dark now. In addition, the passive is great because it can also give you more AA damage. Then I have Prepare for Elite. In my Prepare for Elite, I have Endure, One Hand Quicken, Head Crush, Concentration, Lord's Aura, Enchanted Blade, and Sink or Swim. Then I have Death Awakens, which is great for more penetration percentage as well as max HP. You also transform into a monster so you don't have to deal with demi-human damage reductions. And then finally, I have Frenzy, which is good for some HP recovery if you're low on HP. Next, here's my Adventure Handbook. I have 150% deposit, at 3,725 attack, and 3,189 magic attack. So definitely this does take a lot of investment. Your damage scales off magic attack and physical attack, so this is why deposit is so important for auto attack Rune Master. So this is my progress so far. Definitely a big improvement from last year when I made a similar video, so I'll keep at it. Maybe because I'm a masochist or enjoy this painful process, or maybe just because I like having a fun project I can invest in. Do you have a classic class that you enjoy investing in? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I'd recommend, and if you want more class recommendations, check out this playlist over here.